Welcome to Rotu's DragonSoul Hero Review. I will try to objectively rate each skill on its own individual merit on a 1 through 5 star basis, as well as the damage. I will take a short stroll through suggested runes and end with an overall review that includes heroes I use with the hero in review, where I use them, then the final overall star rating, and to cap it off, whether I believe it's worth your time. Let's begin. Up for review this week, Frost Giant. His white, active skill, Freezer Burn. Conjures a shockwave of freezing air that deals 1 star's worth of magic damage across the battlefield. Has the magic damage trait and the water damage trait. The damage is not impressive and does nothing else on its own. I rate this as a 2-star skill. His green skill, Death Popsicle. Hurls a monster icicle at the closest foe, dealing 2 stars worth of physical damage immediately and 1 star's worth of more physical damage over 6 seconds. Has the physical damage trait, the piercing damage trait, and the damage over time trait. This skill actually looks exactly like it's written, which is to say, pretty awesome. The damage is unimpressive, and the dot is too low damage that I haven't once considered using him with Hydra. I rate this as a 2-star skill. His blue skill, Frosty Deluge, spews ice on foes, dealing 2 stars worth of magic damage. Has the magic damage trait and the water damage trait. I think this one looks pretty cool as well. It's an area attack facing forward, but with a small to mid range. I rate this as a 3-star skill. His purple skill, Cool Runnings. His bobsled training gives him and his allies 88.8 tenacity. Reduces duration of stuns and disables. Has no traits. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time. This skill is a little situational, but versus a very common occurrence. It was the first real counter to Medusa. I rate this as a 5-star skill. His orange legendary skill, Polar Vortex. Whenever he damages a foe, that foe's attack speed and movement speed is reduced by 52.6% for 5 seconds. Repeated damage refreshes the duration. Has no traits. This skill is unlocked when you promote to orange and then do 3 quests. Step 1, Shop Smart. Sacrifice 2,000 Soul Mart tokens. Results may vary, but this was very easy and instantly finished for me by the time I was unlocking legendary skills. Step 2, Frosty's Revenge. Use Frost Giant and at most 2 other heroes to defeat an elite stage where the Dust Devil is the boss. I tried this a few times and it didn't take, but I just tapped on the actual writing of it and it took me right to the stage where I finished it the first time. It's stupid, I don't know if it still does that. Step 3, Stunning Payback. Have Frost Giant stunned 30 times in 1 day. Only counts if you win. This is, bar none, the single hardest quest I have personally ever had to do for Legendary Quest. This is what the checklist looked like for months, which was infuriating because everyone else found it so easy. Now, if you're not an idiot like I am and didn't put this off so long it was nearly impossible a conventional way, you will be doing Molten Scar or Chapter 12's Raven Rabid Rascal. You just need to have him in front and it's supposed to work. If you're too high level, you can resist the Chapter 12 run very easily. What finally worked for me was Chapter 17's The Giving Tree. Him being in the back finally benefited me here as Ancient Idol swaps him with another hero and stuns them both. And there was much rejoicing. This is a great skill and bonus points for not making the reading redundant. Slowing movement speed is almost always useless to me, seeing as both sides need to be in range to use either skill, which just makes me walk further, but it can slow down back-of-the-line heroes enough to be worthwhile. The real reason people care is the massive slow in basic attack, which is good, but it's important to remember the wording. Basic attack. This doesn't slow down any of their actual skills. It does slow down Fury gain, but also requires you to hit them as well, and it's noticeable by its blue tint that it gives them. I rate this as a 4-star skill. For runes, the suggested are a 4 set of Bolt with a plus 15% attack speed and a 2 set of Blood with a plus 200 lifesteal that only affects one of his skill and not his basic attack because it's magic. Now I disagree 100%. I use a 2 set of Hail for the plus 30 accuracy to try and hit dodgy heroes, and the 4 set of River for the plus 20% energy gain on anything that gains energy. For major runes, I target health and skill power. For minor runes, I target starting energy, fury, and conservation to have his active skill go off as often as possible. Then, improve disable to have the duration last a little longer, magic penetration and more accuracy to have my attacks land, and expertise to improve the tenacity given, among other things. Then I try and cap him off with DPS boosts, such as critical boosts and water damage, which conveniently appears on 100% of all runes. Now, if I were to build a low level or higher numbered server lineup focused on Frost Giant, I would go with either Megator, Berserker, or Snapdragon as the tank. Whatever you have leveled and prefer, they're all solid choices. Medusa, since you're likely to run into her a lot, and you can pair her with Frost Giant and make use of the extra tenacity to have the advantage. Then a Barbarian and a Crimson Witch. No real reason except they're just exceptional heroes, especially early on. And finally, Frost Giant himself. For a high level or low server number lineup, I could come up with 100 different takes on Frost Giant. But something interesting I would go with is some combination of Silent Spirit or Cosmic Elf for silence, and then either Raging Revenant or Ancient Idol for blind. Can go with whichever you prefer or have, although I'd try and have at least one of the two tanks in the mix. Now, here I would take a Bone Dragon for that energy drain, and then Barbarian for her exceptional usefulness, and finally Frost Giant himself. The logic behind this being Frost Giant's legendary skill reduces attack speed, so take away their basic attack damage, remove their magic attacks via silence, and physical attacks via blind. I would personally choose Raging Revenant because his active skill should pair up really well with Barbarian's legendary. Alternatively, you could also pick Aquatic Man over Bone Dragon and try and push out more damage with his legendary. Now, I'm going to be honest, I hate Frost Giant. Before he got his legendary, I found him lackluster, and with the hardships I suffered getting his legendary skill to even unlock, it didn't help his case at all. I try to be unbiased, but he made it very personal. Frost Giant was the first ever hero I 5-starred, so this hatred runs really deep. His damage sucks, but his cool runnings and polar vortex skills make him a worthwhile hero. Overall, I rate Frost Giant as a 4-star hero. Pre-legendary, I would wait and not focus on him as much. Once you get his legendary, he's really worth using. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or even both, I encourage you to rate, comment, and even subscribe. Questions, comments, or suggestions are easier on Twitter at Rotu DS. Okay, that's the end.